Again, Kiprono, let me come back to you.
Yeah.
I apologize for putting any of you on the spot, but I might do so with my next two questions. I want to talk about the two elephants in the room, not one, two of them. One elephant is, why did the president not do this sooner? And the second elephant is, how high is he willing to go, in your view, from what you've seen so far? You're the unfortunate one who gets to start off this round.
Thank you. I think that the president has been actually working on this for a long time. And I remember, was it 3 or 4 years ago that he declared corruption a national disaster. And, you know, I'm sure that the president, energized by his re-election victory, energized by the handshake, now has, you know, the high ground upon which to stand on to slay this dragon. And I think it behoves upon us as Kenyan citizenry to support him in this fight. At the Chamber of Commerce, we ascribe to the UN Global Compact. That is a very comprehensive document that deals with the issue of corruption in business. And like Lee and like Professor, I agree that it takes two to tango. It is the giver and the taker. And I cannot absolve the public, neither can I absolve the business community, because they are party to the whole story of corruption. And for me, I think if the president is to be successful in this war, he really needs to drill down to where corruption can be found. And at the
Is it drill down or drill up?
Drill down.
There are those who say it's drill up.
It is both up and down. Actually, you're correct. And for me, if you look at the land administration in this country, we have a situation where over 20% of transactions dealing with land have fraudulent activity inherent therein. This is a carryover from previous administrations. We need to go back to land administration. And I'm very happy to see what Cabinet Secretary Karone is doing in terms of digitizing the land registry. There's a big problem in the land registry, in tax administration. You know, the Kenya Revenue Authority has been one of the places that, you know, have really caused a big problem to the business community. You know, they come up with very high tax evaluations, and invariably, many business people actually resort to solving their tax problems through the back route, which is corruption. If you look at the issue of the whole electoral process in Kenya, the mere fact that we allow and we continue to inculcate a culture of voter bribery in Kenya, that is where the vicious cycle of corruption starts. Because at the end of the day, you know, the person who has millions of shillings is able to get himself elected as governor, as senator, as member of parliament. When he gets into office, his first course of business is going to be to recoup the funds. So it becomes a vicious cycle of corruption. I mean, we look at the electoral process, it's a really big problem in this country. Tax and customs administration. How do Al-Shabaab find their way into the country with the bombs that they have? You know, the number of containers that we see of illicit sugar, illicit maize, going through the port of Kilindini. So we really need to slay this public procurement, which is what the president has been dealing with over the last few days. So in my opinion, the public, the business community cannot absolve themselves from the problem of corruption in this country. The best that we can do is align ourselves to the objectives of the UN Global Compact, which is what we've done at the Chamber of Commerce, support the president, and support, more importantly, the institutions that are entrusted to the fight against corruption.
So do you say each of these gentlemen here can in a sense, bear some sort of collective responsibility? Would each of you be willing to say that as a nation, collectively, we have condoned, we have allowed corruption to fester amongst us? VC, and you can also comment on that as you give us your thoughts.
I think it's interesting because among the things I had noted was the issue of elections, to talk about elections. Because the leaders you elect give you the direction where you are going. And one of the things I would like to beseech the president is to copy Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Because when he took up power in 1965, one of the things he dealt with very, very firmly in order to make Singapore from third world to first world was dealing with corruption. And it didn't matter whether you are a relative, you are a close friend, or a minister in his government. Those who are corrupt were either found themselves running away to exile or getting to jail, or some of them, if you read his book, Singapore from third world to first world, committed suicide because he was completely unrelenting.
Rather die than face the consequences of their
because
action.
The consequences were very dire.